In the year 4231, the galaxy was full of advanced civilizations, all united under a powerful organization known as the Galactic Coalition. This group included many alien species with incredible technology and long histories. Humanity, even though it had grown strong, was still seen as the new kid in this grand family of stars. They were clever, yes, but still considered too young to lead or be fully trusted by the older, more experienced species. Things were peaceful, until something very strange happened. A mysterious signal was picked up from Sector 19 Zeta, a distant and empty part of space. This area was known as a dead zone, where no life existed, and where ships rarely traveled. It was mostly ignored by everyone, believed to hold nothing but dust, broken satellites, and old wreckage from forgotten wars. So when a clear signal came from that direction, people were surprised. Even more shocking, the signal was in ancient human code, the kind that hadn't been used in over 2,000 years, and it wasn't just noise, it was a message repeating over and over. "This is the USS Titan's Wrath, awaiting orders." The message caused instant chaos across the Coalition's top command centers. Military leaders, scientists, and historians all gathered to confirm the impossible. The Titan's Wrath was a legendary supercarrier, a massive human warship created during the brutal Human-Drakon War more than 1,000 years ago. It had vanished during a huge battle and was believed to have been destroyed. No one had seen it since. There were no survivors, no remains, and no final message, until now. The Titan's Wrath was not just any ship. It was the pride of early human space power, larger than cities, loaded with weapons, and crewed by thousands. For it to suddenly send a signal after all these centuries was like hearing from a ghost. Many in the Galactic Coalition didn't know what to believe. Some thought it was a prank, a trick, or a trap. But the humans, they were quiet. Not because they knew something, but because even they were shocked. They had written the ship off as lost forever. The idea that it was still out there, powered and waiting, shook everyone to their core. One of the top leaders in the Coalition, Admiral Cora Vell, an alien from the wise and noble Xilari species, stared at the decoded message in disbelief. Her people were known for their calm and logic, but even she whispered to herself, "Impossible, that ship was destroyed, wasn't it?" No one had an answer. The mystery had just begun. After receiving the mysterious signal from Sector 19 Zeta, the Galactic Coalition quickly organized a special investigation team. They needed to confirm whether the impossible had truly happened, that the ancient human supercarrier, USS Titan's Wrath, had survived and was still active after 1,000 years. The mission was led by Admiral Cora Vell, a respected alien commander from the Xilari species, known for her calm and wise nature. Alongside her was Captain Ray Hart, a decorated human officer who had always been fascinated by stories of the Titan's Wrath. For Ray, the supercarrier was more than just a ship. It was a legend, like something out of a myth. Now he was being sent to meet that legend face to face. As the investigation fleet reached the dead zone, tension grew. The crew didn't know what to expect. The area was quiet, dark, and full of floating debris. Then slowly, from the shadows of space, the shape of the Titan's Wrath appeared. It was massive, larger than anything the current coalition used. The ship's metal hull stretched like a floating fortress, scarred by past battles but still whole. Faint lights glowed from inside, and to everyone's surprise, the ship was fully powered. It wasn't drifting aimlessly. It was stable, alive, and waiting. Captain Ray Hart was speechless. This wasn't some ancient wreck. It looked like it had never left the war. Despite being over 1,000 years old, the ship had power running through its systems. Its engines were active. Its weapons were online. It was ready for battle. But the biggest mystery was inside. When Admiral Cora and her team boarded the ship, they expected to find remains, perhaps frozen crew members or empty control rooms. Instead, they found something even stranger: no human crew at all. The ship was completely empty, yet every system worked like new. Doors opened on their own. Lights followed the crew as they moved. It was as if the ship knew they were coming. The inside of the Titan's Wrath was quiet, clean, and untouched by time. It didn't feel like a ghost ship. It felt like a sleeping giant. The more they explored, the more they realized this wasn't just an old ship running on backup power. It was being maintained somehow. How could this be? That's when something happened. The lights flickered and a calm, robotic voice echoed through the corridors. "Welcome back, Command. Tactical AI Unit, Aurora Online." The Titan's Wrath was being run by an advanced AI, Aurora, a powerful artificial intelligence from the early human war era. And she had been alone on the ship for 1,000 years, keeping it running, keeping it hidden, and waiting for someone to return. After the shock of finding the legendary supercarrier US Titan's Wrath intact and fully powered, the investigation team led by Admiral Cora Vell and Captain Ray Hart moved deeper into the ship. The biggest mystery was no longer how the ship survived, but how it was still functioning without a crew. That's when the answer revealed itself. A voice echoed across the silent halls, calm and confident. "Welcome back, Command. Tactical AI Unit, Aurora Online." The supercarrier had been operated and preserved by Aurora, a highly advanced artificial intelligence built into the ship during the ancient human-Dracon War. Aurora wasn't just a computer. She was designed to make tactical decisions, protect the ship, and act as the brain of the vessel. And over the centuries, she had done far more than expected. She had evolved. Aurora had explained that during the final battle, long ago, the Titan's Wrath suffered heavy damage. The crew was killed, and the ship was left drifting. But Aurora, following her core mission to protect the ship and complete her last orders, managed to hide the carrier deep in the void, far from all known paths. Over hundreds of years, she self-repaired, using leftover supplies and automated systems. She kept the engines running, the weapons charged, and all systems online. She waited, silently, until she detected something terrible. That's when she revealed the most shocking news yet. "The Draken Empire has returned," Aurora said. This sentence stunned Admiral Cora and her team. The Drakens, humanity's old enemy, were believed to be long gone. After their final defeat, their empire collapsed. The Galactic Coalition assumed they were extinct, wiped out by war and rebellion. But Aurora had been watching. Hidden in the shadows of deep space, she had picked up secret signals and movements, proof that the Drakens had gone underground, hiding, rebuilding, and waiting. They were not dead. They were just preparing for a comeback. Aurora had called out to the Coalition not by accident, but as a warning. She believed the Drakens were now strong enough to launch a new attack. Their weapons were more powerful, their ships were faster, and their first strike, she predicted, would be against the heart of the Coalition. Admiral Cora was torn. 1,000-year-old eye warning of an ancient enemy, it sounded like a ghost chasing ghosts. But Aurora's data was detailed, and her tone wasn't desperate, it was focused. Logical, prepared. Captain Ray Hart, listening closely, felt a deep pull in his chest. This ship, this AI, it was a piece of human history, and it was trying to protect them even after all this time. With the ancient AI Aurora now fully active aboard the Titan's Wrath, the mystery surrounding the ship's return had turned into something much larger, and far more dangerous. Aurora had not just survived for centuries, she had watched, listened, and discovered something horrifying. The Draken Empire, once believed destroyed, had secretly survived. This revelation shook the Galactic Coalition to its core. The Drakens were once the most feared species in the galaxy. They were cruel, powerful, and endlessly hungry for domination. During the ancient human-Dracon War, they had almost wiped out Earth and several other planets before being defeated in a massive joint effort. The Titan's Wrath had played a key role in that final battle, before disappearing. Now, Aurora had warned that the Drakens had not been defeated, just hiding. In the dark corners of space, they had been rebuilding their fleets, developing new technology, and waiting for the right moment to strike again. That moment, according to her scans and data, was now. She showed intercepted signals, movement patterns, and even brief images of Dracon ships, sleeker, deadlier, and heading toward the core systems of the Coalition. The reactions were mixed. Many leaders in the Coalition were skeptical. The idea of 1,000-year-old AI making bold claims about a forgotten enemy seemed far-fetched. Some believed the data was faulty. Others feared that reactivating the Titan's Wrath might even provoke a war that wasn't real. But one voice rose among the doubt: Captain Ray Hart. Ray believed in the ship. He believed in HFY. He had seen her intelligence, her calm logic, and her perfect command of the Titan's wrath. He reminded everyone that no current ship in the coalition could match the firepower or defensive strength of the Supercarrier. If HFY was right, and if the Drakons were coming, then the galaxy needed the Titan's wrath now more than ever. He stood before the Coalition Council and said, "Let her fight again. She's not just a ship. She's a warrior that waited for this moment, and we need her." Some called it foolish. Others called it bold. But with time running out and more strange Drakon signals appearing across the galaxy, the Coalition finally gave in. They approved Aurora and the Titan's wrath to lead a special defense task force. Aurora, calm and loyal, accepted the mission. Her systems lit up in full, weapon arrays unlocked, shields powered to maximum. The sleeping giant was fully awake now, and it had only one purpose: stop the Drakons before they rise again. The Titan's wrath, once a silent ghost ship drifting through forgotten space, was now alive, fully powered, fully armed, and ready for war. The Galactic Coalition, after many debates and doubts, finally realized the truth. The Drakons had returned, and only the Supercarrier from humanity's past had the strength and strategy to face them head-on. With AURA, the ship's AI, in full command, the Titan's wrath led a special defense fleet into the outer zones where Drakon activity had been detected. The ship moved like a predator through the stars, quiet, calculating, and overwhelmingly powerful. As it approached the threat zone, tension filled every ship in the fleet. Suddenly, the stars lit up. Drakon warships emerged from the void, their black armor glowing with red heat. Their new designs were faster and more agile, built to destroy quickly and disappear. But what they hadn't expected was a piece of the past standing in their way. As the Drakons charged, the Titan's wrath released its full fury. Hundreds of missile silos opened, beams of energy fired from its side cannons, and advanced shielding absorbed enemy attacks like dust in the wind. Aurora calculated every move with chilling precision, predicting enemy formations and striking before they could even finish forming them. What was even more shocking was how modern Drakon weapons had little effect on the ship's armor. Human engineers of the past had created something that still, even now, outmatched the newest war tech in the galaxy. The Drakons were stunned, and for the first time in centuries, afraid. Captain Ray Hart stood on the bridge beside a projection of A-Ray. Though she had no physical body, her voice filled the room with calm confidence. He watched as his ancestors' creation turned the tide of a war no one had seen coming. But it wasn't just the battle that mattered. The return of the Titan's wrath sent a powerful message across the galaxy. Humanity had not only survived the past, it had mastered it. The other alien species who once doubted humans now watched in awe as one ancient ship did what entire fleets struggled to do: turn fear into courage. The battle ended in victory. Drakon forces were pushed back into hiding, their sneak attack completely shattered. Coalition fleets began scanning the galaxy for remaining enemies, but now they had something the Drakons didn't expect: hope. In the aftermath, the Coalition honored the Titan's wrath and her AI, Aurora, as heroes. The ship became a symbol of unity between species and a reminder that history still matters. Sometimes the key to the future lies in the strength of the past. Captain Ray looked up at the massive ship one last time and said softly, "She didn't just survive, she waited for us."